Welcome, honored viewers, to the magnificent and dramatic theater of human history. In every military textbook, holding the high ground guarantees a glorious victory. Yet the greatest military genius of Europe willingly abandoned this golden rule. Why would Napoleon deliberately surrender the mighty Pratzen Heights to his foes? Prepare to uncover the most brilliant psychological trap ever set on a battlefield. It is the freezing and incredibly bitter morning of December 2nd, 1805. A freezing and heavy fog completely blankets the quiet valley of Austerlitz today. According to historical records, over 73,000 French soldiers wait here. They remain intensely shivering in the dark shadows, while breathing out heavy clouds of white mist. Looking up, we see the massive and strategically perfect Pratzen Heights looming above. This commanding position could easily guarantee an absolute military victory. Surprisingly, Emperor Napoleon deliberately ordered his men to march down from it. He willingly handed this tactical advantage to the giant Russian and Austrian army. 85,000 enemy troops now comfortably occupy that majestic high ground. Many modern scholars still argue about the seemingly disastrous and highly reckless decision. Was he truly terrified by the overwhelming numbers of the massive coalition forces? Deep down in the muddy valley, the French soldiers sit quietly and grip their freezing weapons. They absolutely trust their brilliant commander, despite the terrifying odds against them. Napoleon stands completely still in his gray coat while observing the thick morning fog. His piercing and highly calculating eyes remain totally hidden beneath his dark black hat. To understand this profound mystery, we must closely examine his right flank deployment. The French right wing looks incredibly weak and stretched dangerously thin across the freezing snow. It appears as though they are completely exhausted and ready to retreat at any moment. Up on the mighty Pratzen Heights, Tsar Alexander I carefully watches this weakness. The arrogant Russian emperor truly believes that the legendary French army is now broken. He strongly desires to deliver a crushing and definitive final blow to end the Great War. His allied generals confidently agree to heavily attack that vulnerable right flank. They completely fail to realize that this inviting weakness is a carefully engineered illusion. The coalition army begins a massive and aggressive movement straight down the snowy slopes. Tens of thousands of enthusiastic soldiers march vigorously towards the distant French lines. Their bayonets point sharply forward as they excitedly anticipate a glorious triumph. They freely throw away the magnificent high ground advantage just for a rapid victory. The heavy boots of the advancing infantry forcefully churn the freezing mud and thick white snow. Down below, the badly outnumbered French defenders desperately prepare to face the massive assault. They fire their heavy muskets bravely while slowly stepping back under the overwhelming pressure. The trap works absolutely perfectly as more enemies rush directly into the dark valley. Tsar Alexander enthusiastically commits almost his entire force to this southern attack. This crucial maneuver slowly drains the mighty Pratzen Heights of its protective military strength. The dense morning fog perfectly hides the devastating reality from the Russian generals. If you were the Russian emperor, would you also boldly charge down to crush a visibly weak enemy? Please let us know your brilliant tactical thoughts in the comments before we reveal the shocking truth. Now we finally return our gaze to the obscured and mysteriously quiet valley center. Underneath the incredibly thick layer of white mist, a massive hidden danger patiently waits. Two heavily armed and elite French military corps have been standing in total silence for hours. They are completely hidden from the arrogant Russian leaders who are now marching far away. Emperor Napoleon calmly watches his enemies completely abandon their perfect, natural fortress. He tightly holds his brass telescope and carefully monitors the steadily growing gap in their lines. The central high ground is becoming dangerously empty as more coalition troops rush downwards. At 8:30 in the morning, a truly miraculous and legendary natural event suddenly occurs. The famous and glorious Sun of Austerlitz beautifully rises above the cold and tragic battlefield. Brilliant and incredibly warm golden rays dynamically pierce and tear through the dissolving white fog. The dark and gloomy valley is suddenly illuminated by a spectacular and divine light. This light instantly exposes the absolute truth of the terrifying military situation. The majestic Pratzen Heights are now practically defenseless and vulnerable to a swift attack. Emperor Napoleon tightly grips his sword and fiercely raises his right arm towards the glowing sky. With a cold and triumphant smile, he decisively orders his elite central forces to charge upward. The ultimate psychological trap has been successfully triggered with devastating precision. Thousands of hidden French soldiers aggressively emerge from the remaining shadows like angry ghosts. The legendary heavy cavalry leads the massive assault, with their breastplates reflecting the sun. Massive war horses aggressively rear up and bravely gallop directly toward the high ground. The thunderous sound of galloping hooves forcefully shakes the frozen earth beneath their heavy boots. They move with incredible speed and terrifying momentum, like a sharp dagger striking a heart. The few remaining Russian defenders at the top are completely shocked and utterly overwhelmed. They frantically try to organize a desperate defense, but the unstoppable French tide is fast. French infantrymen fiercely clash with their enemies, using extremely sharp and shattering bayonets. The mighty Pratzen Heights are forcefully reclaimed by Emperor Napoleon in a few short hours. The giant Russian and Austrian coalition army is now disastrously sliced into halves. Total chaos and widespread panic immediately spread through the confused and terrified enemy ranks. The Allied generals frantically shout contradictory orders while waving ornamental swords. The vital command structure of the massive coalition completely collapses under the pressure. Commanding the high ground, Napoleon orders his heavy artillery to properly deploy. The highly disciplined French cannoneers rapidly position their fearsome bronze guns along the ridge. Their fully blackened faces show absolutely no mercy as they furiously ram powder into the cannons. The highly terrified Russian soldiers desperately attempt to flee southward towards the frozen lakes. They tragically run directly onto the incredibly slippery surfaces of the thick ice. Thousands of heavily armored men and tired horses dangerously crowd together on the fragile ice. Looking down from the heights, the French emperor coldly commands his artillery to target the icy lakes. A terrifying and deafening roar completely shatters the cold afternoon air as the cannons fire. Massive iron cannonballs relentlessly rain down like falling meteors onto the panicked troops. The French guns are intentionally aiming slightly lower to forcefully strike the frozen surface. The heavy impacts powerfully crack and completely shatter the thick ice into jagged pieces. A horrifying disaster unfolds as the freezing dark water mercilessly swallows the soldiers. Desperate and drowning men frantically scramble over each other, trying to grasp the icy edges. Heavily armed Russian infantrymen are tragically dragged straight down to the muddy bottom by their gear. The once mighty and incredibly arrogant Russian army is now completely destroyed beyond repair. Emperor Napoleon calmly watches this devastating defeat from his perfect vantage point. According to historical records, the brilliant French army lost only a very small fraction of their men. In contrast, the defeated coalition forces suffered truly catastrophic casualties today. The genius of this tactical maneuver deeply shocked military academies around the world. Could any other legendary commander in history have successfully executed this trap? This glorious victory established Napoleon as the undisputed master of all Europe. The Battle of Austerlitz strongly demonstrates that psychology is far more powerful than numbers. By intentionally appearing weak, he successfully forced his greedy enemy to make a mistake. He exploited their blind arrogance to strip away their most important tactical advantage today. When the brilliant sun finally rose over the cold valley, the harsh reality was immediately seen. The high ground was completely empty and practically begging to be rapidly conquered by the French. Many modern scholars strongly consider this to be the finest tactical masterpiece ever achieved. It teaches us a timeless and valuable lesson about the dangerous nature of overconfidence. The beautiful white snow of Austerlitz was permanently stained by the tragic loss of 80,000 men. The completely shattered lakes of Satschan permanently became a massive, terrifying, watery grave. The entirely shattered frozen lake became a permanent tomb for the proud and heavily armed Russian infantry. They all tragically drowned under the massive weight of their incredibly thick wool coats and muskets. General Kutuzov narrowly escaped the battlefield with just a few surviving soldiers. Tsar Alexander wept bitterly in the cold darkness as his once mighty empire was completely destroyed. The great Holy Roman Empire completely collapsed right after this devastating, massive defeat. Napoleon successfully built a powerful new order across the vast European map. His magnificent victory at Austerlitz remains totally unparalleled even today. Generals everywhere still deeply study this truly remarkable, brilliant genius. It strongly proves that manipulating enemy psychology is the ultimate weapon. The thick white morning fog was nothing but a beautiful natural curtain for his brilliant play. He patiently waited in the cold shadows, while the arrogant enemy proudly destroyed themselves. The glorious Sun of Austerlitz will forever shine brightly upon his perfect masterpiece. History strictly reminds us that absolute geographical advantages can be fatal. A true victory is always quietly secured in the strategic mind before the first gunshot. The frozen valley now sits in total silence as the heavy, dark clouds finally gather again. Over 80,000 brave men tragically suffered because of one single disastrous mistake. This epic tale of deception will undeniably remain immortal in the pages of time. Was Napoleon's gamble an act of reckless madness or pure strategic perfection? Please drop your brilliant thoughts in the comments below and let the great historical debate begin. Please do not forget to simply like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more.